When I was a kid, I always had ideas for what I would make if I made a video game based on something that exists. Stuff like how I would make a Mario RPG, or a Kirby racing game, or Pokemon Smash Brothers. Notebooks upon notebooks would be filled with these hypothetical ideas. And even to this day, when I feel a bit bored, the speculation of it all makes me want to fill up Google Docs upon Google Docs of similar things. So I decided, hey, what if I took one of them and made a video about it? This one is about a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, and one that I've had since 2018 that I've kept revising. But I feel like I need to release a video on it now due to semi-recent developments. Mario Super Sluggers is my favorite sports game of the bunch, and it's my favorite Mario spin-off even compared to Mario Kart or the Mario RPGs. I could get into why in another video, but that's not why we're here today. It was somewhat recently announced that there will be a new Mario baseball game, and I'm rather nervous. The recent Mario sports games were all good, but they also had a few drawbacks to each of them. Mario Tennis Aces had a ton of new characters and brought back the fun of special moves, but it also had a bit of mandatory story in the beginning, and the complicated system which, while well made, is hard for an average player to get into. Mario Golf Super Rush implemented a fun speed mode, and most of the things people liked about the old golf games, except for not really having the best levels. And Mario Strikers Battle League, while it's the most stylized game out of all the Strikers games, it doesn't have any side characters, being that everyone is the captain, which kinda screws up the gameplay a lot. The worst of all of this though, the free DLC. Now on paper, free DLC to a game isn't a bad idea, adding characters over time to make the game's roster better and better. The problem is that nobody will pay $60 at launch for these games, and they have to wait for a good few months before deciding whether or not they should buy this game. Tennis Aces did this the best with so many characters added over the lifespan of the game, but people didn't care about Super Rush enough to buy into it, and Battle League stopped shortly. With baseball games, there are a good few problems that can come from the games that we've seen in the past, specifically with Battle League and how you could only play as captains. This is just not okay for a game like baseball, which has such a wide variety of characters to play as. It also leads to the problem of Mario Sports Superstars, where the captain is important, but they fill the other players with random Mario characters like Shy Guys or what have you, which lead to a lack of team building. So today I decided to introduce you all to my dream ideas for this upcoming game, if I were given the reins. To set the stage, here's what I decided to do for it. There will be 16 captains overall, and each of them will have a 9-player team, not counting palette swaps. They will each have their own stadium, and I was thinking, just like Sluggers, there would be a story mode about recruiting them for a quest, and this quest will involve all the stadiums being messed up in some way by Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s teams. Each team has a certain specialty, like fielding, pitching, batting, averageness, running, chemistry, or a mix of them, which I'll bring up when the time comes. In terms of composition, a lot of how the teams were made, specifically with how many palette swaps, came down to how good the teams would be overall. I did this as a balancing mechanic. For example, Wario's team has a bunch of great players compared to Waluigi's team, which only really has decent players, but Waluigi's strength comes from how many combinations of characters he can have, making his roster lineup rather unpredictable compared to Wario's tried and true few. And then there's the character roster. You see, one of the many things people complain about is the fact that in these spin-offs, you don't really get the utilization of characters other than the main ones. Things like seeing a lack of returning enemies and whatnot from other things in the games. It's giving the impression that Mario was becoming incredibly stale, with the exception of Mario Wonder, as well as resulting in the myth of things like the Mario mandates for Paper Mario, making it seem like they weren't able to utilize as much from Mario as they could. But I'm wondering if I could change that by including as many of these characters as possible, shoving them in by the truckload, utilizing as much as I possibly can. The only rule I have for choosing these characters is that I'm limiting how many of them come from spin-offs, since they don't really have as much influence on these games. Sometimes it's possible, like with the Yoshi series introducing all the babies, or the DK series with all the Kongs and K. Rool's crew, but I wanted to try and keep things semi-realistic here. I decided to do it based on the adjacency of the series to the games. For example, I will not put any of the WarioWare characters in this game, because they're not too adjacent to the mainline Mario games, but I will consider adding someone extra from Yoshi's Island since they're very much adjacent to the Mario series. Something similar can be said for Wario Land, but only because it's adjacent to the sports spin-offs. But for anything in the main Mario series, anything, and I mean anything goes. Also, everyone who was in the Sluggers roster stays in this roster. I have these nifty little baseball card inspired visuals for these characters, which show off their name, team, and a little visual of them. And on the right here, there are 3 categories. The top right shows if they excel at anything. Every team has an ace hitter, an ace fielder, and an ace pitcher, and that's where you'll see them. In the middle right, you can see if they have any palette swaps and how many there are. Finally, the bottom right has a list of their abilities. Either they have one ability for either running or fielding, or a pitching and batting ability alongside that for captains. Now I know that my roster might have a few questions that come along with it, so after a character I think would warrant explanation, I'll explain their place in the roster and how they'd work in a baseball game. Also, every stage has mini games incorporated with them, so I'll bring them up when the time comes. Finally, we'll end off with explaining what the bad guys in Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s teams are doing to ruin the stadiums and cause conflict. With all that out of the way, let's play ball! The Mario Classics are our first team. For this team, they're focused on being an overall average team, not particularly excelling at any stats. In terms of team layout, I decided to have them based off the enemies that'll show up in Mario 1, being appropriate with the stadium, Mario Bitland. While Mario Stadium is always the one that's used in these games, I wanted to switch it up and give everyone a gimmick stage that can optionally be turned off. I was thinking that it would be based on a recreation of Super Mario Bros. But brought in as a stadium. As for gimmicks, I was thinking of having some blocks similar to Peach's Garden, but having them closer to the field so people can actually see them. The team is as follows: Goomba, alternates, Goomba and Bone Goomba. Ability, Ball Dash. When holding the ball, he can run even faster. Koopa, alternates, Green Koopa and Red Koopa. Ability, Shell Spin, a way to tackle people when running the base. Paragoomba, ability, Super Jump, a power that can help catch a ball flying just high enough. Paratroopa, alternates, Red Paratroopa and Green Paratroopa. Ability, Super Jump. Hammer Bro, alternates include Hammer Bro, Boomerang Bro, Fire Bro, and Ice Bro. Ability, Hammer Catch, throwing out their namesake to get a ball back. Booper, ability, Ink Slide, covering foes in ink so you can run to your base. Buzzy Beetle, ability, Shell Spin. My motto for making this Dream Sluggers roster is that if Chain Chomp can play tennis, then literally any character is possible. But on that note, Chain Chomp isn't on here because of a future reason that you'll find out in a bit. I imagine them running around on all fours, but holding stuff like bats and gloves in their mouths, while using the momentum of a shell spin to hit stuff or throw stuff. Lakitu, ability, Cloud Jump, similar to Super Jump, but he uses the height of the cloud to jump. Thanks to his inclusion in games like Mario Kart, Lakitus had a better chance in the spotlight, despite always being on the sidelines, and I feel like that could work here as well. Mario, abilities, Special Pitch, Fire Shot, a super fast pitch, Special Bat, Hammer Swing, hits the ball far but at a low angle, Special Run, Super Spin, performs a spin attack to tackle enemies. Mario Bitland has Coin Counter, a game where a sprite moves around a screen, and you swing your bat whenever you want to get your player to jump, or whenever you see a block of coins that you want to get. In terms of their conflict, a spell was cast on the course, turning a lot of the team into pixelated versions of themselves that can only be stopped if the stage is finished, being the flagpole being pulled down, only for Boom Boom and Pom Pom to challenge you. Next up are the Luigi Spookers. These guys are focused on being a good team to choose for pitching and general ball control. The team theme this time is about spooky characters, appropriately fitting Luigi's Mansion. Now, I had a bit of difficulty choosing between the base Luigi's Mansion or updating it to one of the new ones, until I realized that the old one is kind of boring in terms of background elements. So my idea is that, while it'll have the same gimmicks as Luigi's Mansion and Sluggers, it could also have a bunch of ghosts in the background from Dark Moon and the third game, and it'll be called Luigi Mansions. Boo, ability, Quick Toss. If someone is close enough, Boo can throw a ball faster than his normal speed. King Boo, ability, Terror Dash, runs in a frightening fashion towards a base to steal it in close plays. Dry Bones. Alternates include Dry Bones, Blue Dry Bones, Green Dry Bones. Ability, Boomerang. Dry Bones throws a bone on a boomerang to catch a ball nearby. Dark Bones. Ability, Magic Catch. Dark Bone uses dark magic to catch a ball nearby. I know that this is kind of weird considering that Dark Bones has always been a palette swap to the Dry Bones, but I mean, look at it. Dry Bones deserves something more unique to it, and I feel like now would be a good time to do it. Hence why his ability is different. I'd also imagine him playing differently by being better with stats overall. Professor Egad. Ability, Poltergeist Catch. Egad uses the Poltergeist to catch any balls nearby. He's the one from Luigi's Mansion that I'm adding. I decided to stray a bit away from the portrait ghosts, or the ones in Luigi's Mansion, because of my aforementioned rules, but not entirely leaving them out. You'll see why. Plus, it gives some newer ghouls that have shown up a chance to shine. I was thinking of having him riding around with a Poltergeist, rather than it just being himself. Not that he can't necessarily do it on his own, but more that him and the Poltergeist are inseparable. Parabones. Alternates include Parabones, Red Parabones, Blue Parabones, Green Parabones. Ability, Super Jump. Parabones are paratroopas for Dry Bones, so seems fair enough. Bruiser. Ability, Trip Toss. While they won't be able to get up after a bit, the exchange is that they can throw fastballs to teammates to tag people out. Well, I'm not 100% sure if he's a ghost, but he's associated with ghosts. And the Mario Wiki says that he's associated with ghosts. So, yeah, sure, why not? Peepa. Ability, Terror Dash. We're adding in Peepa because he's one of the newest ghosts. Luigi. Abilities: Special Pitch, Tornado Toss, a throw that spins around to confuse hitters. Special Bat, Lightning Hit, hits the ball far and causes lightning to form around it near its landing point. Special Field, Poltergeist Catch. Luigi Mansions has Ghost Hunter, where you explore the 3 mansions in the background and use your pitching skills to eliminate the ghosts that invade the areas. As for the conflict of this board, it could be that Dry Bowser is forcing the team to be in paintings, thanks to the portrait ghosts, and you could free them by beating challenges. Next up are the Peach royalties, focused on having amazing fielding above all else. For this team, I wanted it to be royalty themed, and so everyone here is either stable to Peach's castle, related to Peach, or are related to some sort of royalty. The stage this time is Peach Court. Instead of playing inside the castle, or right outside of it, it'll be focused on the garden area on the outside. Think of it like the Peach's garden course in Mario Golf World Tour, and the Peach stage from Mario Sports Mix. Speaking of, the gimmick for this field is similar to Wario City, with the water spouting out and the panels on the floor that can make the ball go in different directions. The difference here is that the fielders can also step on those platforms to get a boost in speed in that direction. Toadsworth. Ability: Trip Toss. Tiara. Ability: Ball Dash. Sprixie. Alternates include green, red, orange, yellow, light blue, dark blue, purple. Ability: Quick Toss. Tiara and Sprixie are both considered related to royalty, so I think that they would both fit in these roles. Prince Florian. Ability: Super Dive. As if they're diving into the water, they dive into the basement. Prince Florian is from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I think that having him here would also be neat, especially since he has the crown and everything as royalty. The only problem is that he's kinda small even compared to the others, so maybe size him up a little. I think the promotional material makes him Cappy or Luma size, so I think it'll be fine. Stella. Ability: Quick Toss. Seeing as Princess Peach Showtime was announced, I feel like Stella would be a perfect fit, but admittedly, I'm a little hesitant to including them here. Not that they're an obviously bad choice or anything, but it's hard to gauge how popular Princess Peach Showtime will be. Either way, I'm still keeping high hopes for this one. Maybe they'll be as popular as Perry the Parasol. Yeah, that guy. Pink Gold Peach. Ability: Metallic Slide. With the weight of their metal, they dive into a basement. Pink Gold Peach could be a statue of Peach that comes to life and wants to help, in a similar way to how Daisy was turned into a statue in Sluggers. Goomba King. Ability: Anger Charge. Fuming with the power of a steaming locomotive, they charge her to the basement. Cat Goomba. Alternates include Pink Cat Goomba, Blue Cat Goomba, Green Cat Goomba, Orange Cat Goomba. Ability: Clamber. By jumping off the walls in the back of the stadium, it's possible to catch a ball that flies by without needing a buddy. Why are Cat Goombas and the Goomba King here? Well, they go hand in hand. They could just be cats who love playing in the yard, and Goomba King, being there for a royal meeting, doesn't see them as suitable Goombas until they pledge their loyalty to the Goomba King, making Goomba King consider them his entourage. Plus, I needed a heavy hitter to replace Petey Piranha, and having Goomba royalty here seems fitting. Peach. Abilities include her Special Pitch, Heart Throw. Peach throws the ball in a heart shape. Special Bat, Lovely Swing. Hits the ball far, confusing teammates as it passes by. Special Field, Quick Toss. Peach Court has Wall Ball, the same as the ones in the previous games, in which you throw a ball through walls, and depending on the wall you finish on, you get some bonus points. The conflict of this board is that King Babam feels jealous of everyone else attending. He feels that he should have been invited, and, in a fit of rage, set off explosives in the area. He could be working with the Goomba King and the Cat Goombas to cause some chaos until Peach offers a treaty of diplomacy. Next up are the Daisy Flowers. They're focused on being okay at hitting and running. Not spectacular 5 stars overall, but solid 3 and 4 stars in these categories. As for the players, I tried to base them off of plants, bugs, and animals that you'd see in the garden. Or just plants in general. The stage here is Daisy Garden, and instead of it being a well-trimmed course like Peachy Court, this one is a giant sprawling jungle filled with lots of topiary. It has the aura of being organized in some parts, but in others it's a full-on jungle garden. On this field, I feel like the flower gimmicks from DK Jungle works the best, but this time, some of them daze you and some of them make you run fast, instead of all or none. Petey Piranha. Ability: Snap Catch. If a ball is nearby, Petey will snap to the ball and catch it quickly. Wiggler. Ability: Anger Charge. Monty Mole. Ability: Dig Dash. Digging out of the basement, they pop up as a surprise when it wasn't expected. Piranha Plant. Alternates include Piranha Plant, Fire Piranha Plant, and Ink Piranha Plant. Ability: Snap Catch. I imagine that they would be in a pot and would move around in the pot like how Fire Piranha Plant does so in Mario Tennis Aces, or maybe even walking around like they do in Mario Wonder. Flutter. Ability, Super Jump. Flutter has arms and legs, and as an evolution to Wiggler, I think he fits in pretty well. Morty Mole. Ability, Dig Dash. Morty's only been in Super Mario 3D Land, but regardless, I think that he should get a place here, as the big boy he is. I'm thinking of doing this similar to how I did Dark Bones, in which it's an enemy we all know, but with a bit of oomph. There'll be a few enemies like this, so keep your eyes peeled. Talking Flower. Ability, Cryptos. Sting Bee. Ability, Super Jump. Another Wonder NPC, and one of the biggest ones. Whether you like him or not, Talking Flower is an incredibly notable character within Wonder. I imagine him moving around in a pot like the Piranha Plants do, and I think he has a bunch of character to offer. Talking Flower doesn't really have hands, so I imagine him like a Goomba when it comes to throwing a ball and hitting it with a bat. Same for Sting Bee. Daisy. Abilities. Special Pitch, Bloom Toss. A pitch that explodes and blooms to distract those who try to hit it. Special Bat. Flower Swing. In the place that it lands, a flower fence will be surrounding the ball as it flies down, carried by a flower parachute. Special Field, Super Jump. Daisy Garden has Flower Fall, where flower petals, leaves, or even fruit fall down from a giant tree, and you have to run to try and catch them. The conflict of this board could be that Womp King sees the topiary and sees an opportunity to tear it down and create an army of Womp soldiers. And so a lot of the place is blocked off by Womps, and you need to manage your way around, destroying concrete in the way so it can be a full-grown garden. Next up are the Yoshi Islanders. Their goal is to have good chemistry, meaning that they're good when it comes to doing special moves in regards to chemistry, like good throws, good items, buddy jumping, and buddy throwing. The theme is based on those from Yoshi's Island, hence the name Yoshi Islanders. The stage is Yoshi Park because it's always Yoshi Park, but in this one, it's Yoshi Island Park. A lot of its elements, while based on Yoshi Park, is also based mainly on Yoshi's Island. So while it has some areas with piranha plants and trains, it also has segments where you can be affected by the snow of the mountains, or the floating question mark logos. Baby Mario. Ability, Super Spin. Baby Luigi. Ability, Super Jump. Baby Peach. Ability, Trip Toss. Baby Daisy. Ability, Anger Charge. Baby DK. Ability, Clamber. Now, a team full of babies doesn't seem too viable. After all, they typically have the lowest stats in all the games, and are only really chosen for the sake of chemistry. For this one, however, I hope to buff them up a bit, if that makes sense. Not making them the buffest of babies, but maybe somewhere in the middle. All three of these newcomers come from Yoshi's Island, and I feel like they would be cool to add in. Hopefully they don't become too much of a stretch to add in, since they've always been in Mario media that wasn't just Yoshi's Island before, but only time will tell. Bumpty. Ability, Slide Catch. Sliding on its belly, Bumpty catches the ball with their momentum. Penguin representation is always a plus, and having Bumpty in here would be cool. People might argue that the Cooligans are more present penguins, but I argue that Bumpty's reputation precedes all that. Ukiki. Ability, Clamber. A non-Kong monkey is also a neat addition to see, so I think the most iconic non-monkey deserves a spot here. Poochie. Ability, Slobber Dash. When you see Poochie running towards you, it's hard to tell whether he wants to base or just to pounce on you. It's my boy Poochie. Poochie recently appeared in a mainline Mario game, specifically Mario Wonder, and even appeared in Mario Kart Tour, so if I was adding anyone from Yoshi's Island, other than the two that I did, it would be him. I imagine that him catching and throwing would be done with his mouth the same way Petey Piranha does it. Yoshi. Alternates include green, red, orange, yellow, light blue, dark blue, pink. Abilities. Special Pitch, Rainbow Toss. Being able to throw a rainbow was pretty impressive. Now where's the ball? Special Bat, Egg Swing. Within the egg, the ball bounces around. Who catches it? Who will know? Special Field, Tongue Catch. Yoshi uses their tongue's length to catch the ball. Of course, the alternates don't get the same special pitch and swing. Yoshi Island Park has Target Toss, where you get set up at a carnival stand and knock down various bottles, ravens, and other targets. Getting more of them means getting more points. The conflict of this board would be that Lummy is having too much fun at Yoshi's Park, and wants to ride all the rides himself, enlisting the help of Magikoopa to help make new rides out of teammates. Next up are the Berto Diamonds, a team focused on being good at pitching and catching. As for the composition, I want it to be based on enemies you usually see in the mountains, or those that would be good at doing consistent work. The stage is Berto Diamond Cave, a cave that has a lot of stalactites that can come crashing down depending on how high you hit the ball. Another thing that it has is random digging spots that show up, and walking on them can increase your team's star power depending on the rarity of the mineral you get. Mr. Blizzard. Ability, Far Toss. While it takes a while, Mr. Blizzard can throw from the outest of outfields, all the way to home base. Mr. Blizzard has the arm for hitting, catching, and throwing. Plus he can always hop repeatedly like in Mario 64 to get from place to place. Flippers. Ability, Belly Slam. In a close play, Flippers can flip onto a catcher and make sure that they make the base. Flippers is pretty chonky and can easily do some batting and or catching with his talented tail. Out my way. Ability, Ball Dash. Out my way seems like it'd be a pretty good fit in the team when adding Mr. Blizzard and Flippers onto that list. Goombrat. Ability, Trip Toss. I imagine Goombrat working a lot like Goombas in terms of gloves, batting, and so on and so forth. Boulder. Ability, Ground Pound. Boulder causes a shockwave to hit the catcher when a close play occurs. Sludge Bro. Ability, Ground Pound. Boulder and Sludge Bro both have arms and can move. I think they're pretty neat Mario characters too. Sludge Bro has always been recurring, and while Boulder is new, I think they'd be a great fit. Rocky Wrench. Ability, Wrencherang. Uses his trusty wrench to grab a ball nearby. We could easily have Rocky Wrench move around like a regular Monty Mole, but whenever he stopped, either by batting or being on base, he digs a hole for himself to submerge into. Or maybe like a portable manhole, or even just standing there, menacingly. Ant Trooper. Alternates include Ant Trooper and Horned Ant Trooper. Ability, Quick Toss. Ant Troopers are pretty epic, not gonna lie. We could also give them pseudo-telekinesis, or have them hold onto the bats in their mouth, which honestly seems cuter. Berto. Alternates include Pink, Red, Orange, Yellow, Green, Light Blue, Dark Blue. Abilities include Special Pitch, Weird Egg. Bouncing in so many different directions, is it possible to know where this ball is being thrown? Cannon Swing. Hitting the ball far. The ball lands along with assorted eggs to slip up catchers. Special Field. Suction Catch. If the ball is near, Berto can suck it up. Berto Diamond Cave has Cave Crawl. Sorta like Gem Catch from Wario City, you just run around to catch gems that go towards you and see how many you can grab. As for the conflict, Boss Boulder wants to use the Diamond Cave for making more minions, and has the regular Boulder try to stop conflict whenever he can, which eventually leads to Boulder taking your side against Boss Boulder, who doesn't want to have fun with baseball. Next up are the Wario Wreckers. They're a team that focuses on being good at hitting the ball. The composition of this team is based on those that could cause damage or could profit off of it. The stadium is Wario Arena, a place that looks like Waluigi Stadium and Wario Coliseum from Double Dash. As for gimmicks, sometimes there will be a chain chomp that gets in the way, similarly to Wario Palace. Additionally, there are occasional pits of mud that are harder for you and the ball to move around in. Captain Syrup. Ability, Quick Steal. When stealing a base, Syrup gets a head start that's hard to fight against. Now if it were me, I would fill this entire roster with characters from the Wario series, like Count Cannoli, Mad Science-Stein, Rudy the Clown, and all the WarioWare characters. But unfortunately, it's very unlikely that WarioWare will cross over. It's definitely possible as we saw in Mario Power Tennis, but I have low hopes that it will happen, and would involve way too much speculation. Instead, I thought a bit more creatively. You see, the Switch games have brought back Pauline into the main cast of Mario Girlies. She's in Mario Kart and the Mario Sports games. So I thought, why don't we bring in another oft-forgotten lady that would be perfect for rounding out the crew of Mario Girlies. Captain Syrup fits this position very well as a fellow pursuer of treasures that appears as a recurring character in the Wario Land games. Topper. Ability, Hat Toss. Toss a hat towards a ball and catch it when it comes back. Rango. Ability, Hat Toss. Harriet. Ability, Spike Toss. Throw a ball to your teammate without dealing with any hazards in the way. Spewart. Ability, Ink Slide. Madam Brutal. Ability, Chomp Reach. Brutal sends her pet chain chomp out to grab a ball that's just too far for her to reach. Yeah, I brought in the Brutals. All of them. They were in one of the most recent Mario 3D platformers, meaning that they're a perfect game to add into the spin-offs. See Piantas and Sluggers, Petey in the GameCube games, Rosalina in the Wii games, and so on and so forth. Plus, while some may think that they'd fit more so with the Bowser crew, I feel like they would love to be a part of the lucrative money-making schemes of Wario, and would like to join in with him. Metal Mario. Alternates include Metal Mario and Gold Mario. Ability, Metallic Slide. Metal Mario is here because Pink Gold Peach is here, and so is Gold Mario. Charge and Chuck. Alternates include Charge and Chuck, Sumo Bro, and Shovas. Ability, Charge Dash. Tackling foes is part of his deal, so you better move if it's a close play. Charge and Chuck was in the new Mario Golf game, and if he could do golf, he could surely do baseball. His ults may seem a bit weird, and Sumo Bro and and Shovels could easily be different characters instead, but with the Brutals being too unique to be alternate characters, I had to add some here to make the roster a bit more unpredictable. Plus, they would better work as palette swaps thanks to their designs and movements being so similar. Plus, according to the Mario Wiki, they're all related in some way, shape, or form, so it makes sense. Wario. Abilities. Special Pitch, Gas Toss. See if you can try and hit the ball with so much gas covering the screen. Special Bat, Bomb Swing. Wario will hit a bomb that'll explode a bit before landing, causing the baseball to land somewhere nearby. Special Field, Laser Toss. Throw from the outfield to the infield with laser speed. Wario Arena has Doodle Derby. Like Graffiti Runner, you start with a giant white canvas, and you have to cause as much damage as you can by painting it with as much color as you can. The conflict here is that Morton Koopa comes along and enjoys the arena a bit too much, attempting to cause mayhem everywhere in the arena, including the outside area, causing lots of havoc. Next up are the Waluigi Bandits, a team that's focused on running bases, stealing bases, and getting points as sneakily as possible. The composition of the team involves characters and creatures that are sneaky in some way. Waluigi Stadium is Waluigi Pinball. Just kidding, it's called Waluigi Casino, an entire casino that, while it has a pinball aesthetic, it's somewhere that people can move around, spend money, and play games. It's fitting for a town of thieves too, that they would do their best to swindle you as legally as possible. As for gimmicks, I would actually make it similar to something like Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, where the ball landing in a certain place has a gimmick go off. This time though, it's random based on what the casino has rolled for that spot. Stuff like fire, POW, earthquakes, and so on and so forth. Another cool gimmick would be having moving pinball bumpers so that the ball can sometimes bounce a bit higher than before, or so that the pinball can move more than it usually would. Shy Guy. Alternates: red, blue, yellow, green, black. Ability, Trip Toss. Nabbit. Ability, Bag Catch. Many have heard of catching with a wide net, but Nabbit takes it to another level with a wide bag. Nabbit has been in a few games, and I feel like he's the perfect mainline character to add to a team of bandits. Besides, well, Bandit Guy. Alternates include blue, red, green. Ability, Quick Steal. Bandits would be like Shy Guys, but a bit faster, like with Dark Bones and Morty Mole. Fly Guy. Alternates include red, blue, yellow, green, black. Ability, Quick Fly. Similar to Super Jump, Fly Guy soars into the air to catch a ball slightly further than the Super Jump. Fly Guys are just paratroopers for Shy Guys, not much else there. Ninja. Ability, Star Toss. Ninja throws a ball like a ninja star, faster than the eye can perceive. Ninjas have become more and more prominent, and I feel like it fits for them to be in a role with Deception. Walleye. Ability, Wall Stop. Using its size, Walleye can jump in front of the ball so that it doesn't pass him. Walleyes would be very fitting as bouncers to casinos, and I feel like they would run on their sides like a crab considering their movement in 3D world. Skip Squeak. Ability, Ball Dash. Galumba. Ability, Far Toss. These last two have no hands. I feel like they could use their mouth, kinda like how I wanted Ant Troopers to use it, but I feel like they could also have the pseudo-telekinesis, and I feel like it works better to give that to them so they don't break their teeth. Waluigi. Abilities. Special Pitch, Loop to Toss. Looping around in the air, the ball's position is hard to handle. Special Bat, Right Swing. When he bats with his power, the ball will make a bunch of sudden twists and turns that are hard to predict. Special Field, Far Toss. Waluigi Casino has Pinball Peril. Like Bowser Pinball, you play a game of pinball using your bat as the pinball bumpers and try to score as many points as you can. What kind of conflict would there be at a casino? Well, what if it was closed down by Roy, meaning that the other members of the team have to hide in alleyways like in Wario City? Next up are the DK Dangerous. This team is focused on hitting hard and running fast, similarly to the Daisy Flowers. The team composition is based on, well, DK, or at least animals/creatures with a hint of danger to them. The stadium this time around is DK Jungle Ruins. You see, Daisy Garden already has the flowers and overgrown shrubbery, so I wanted to make the DK stage different by having it more be like a temple from Returns. The gimmick around it would be focused more on traps like barrels being thrown, and occasionally there could be a ring of fire that appears around a certain part of the outfield that you can't interact with. Funky Kong. Ability, Clamber. King K. Rule. Ability, Laser Toss. Critter. Alternates include green, red, blue, brown. Ability, super spin. So, my own terms for this dream roundup make it hard for me to justify adding a bunch of Kong and Critter characters, so we have to kinda stray away for a bit from the theming, and added a bunch of Mario exclusive characters to his roster. Except for one, Cranky Kong. Ability, cane bounce. Cranky uses his cane to get himself some extra height to catch the ball. Cranky Kong has evolved so far beyond his role as an elderly advice giver / curmudgeon. In fact, he saved DK Island from the Snowmads along with DK, Diddy, and Dixie, so I think it's time to give him the spotlight. Womp. Ability, wall stop. Wimp. Ability, wall stop. Womp and Wimp could be here as a father-son duo that tours the area of the temple. They definitely add to the temple vibe while still being an agent of danger. Plus, I love obscure Mario enemies getting more representation, and Wimp is perfect for it. His design is the least obscure out of all the obscure enemies. Like, the most realistically viable out of all the designs to come back is as a mini Womp. Spike. Alternates include Spike and Stone Spike. Ability, Spike Toss. Spike is a Mario character that can move and has hands. I'd like to think that their bats would be different, like the regular Spike uses a spike bar and the Stone Spike uses a club. Flopter. Ability, Quick Fly. Flopter fits the whole jungle vibe, and the propeller would be a good way for them to bat like crazy. Donkey Kong. Abilities, Special Pitch, Barrel Toss. See if you can handle a barrel being thrown towards you. Special Bat, Giant Swing. With the strength of the jungle, don't you dare try and catching the ball, unless you want to be stuck in a giant crater. Special Field, Clamber. DK Jungle Ruins has Temple's Wrath. Like Chain Chomp Sprint, you need to avoid the stone DK's wrath. To do this, you need to try and run to take each base, or steal them as much as you can. Fastest one out of the temple wins. The conflict here would be Iggy desecrating the temple, and using his magic to turn the temple against the team, to which you must stop. Next up are the TIY Tropicals, a team of players based on the beach and surrounding areas. Their focus is on fielding primarily, similarly to the Peach Royalties, and their stadium is Diddy Cabana. It'll be a board that takes place on the ocean, floating by the sea, meaning only one thing: Goober Booper will be around to mess with it, destroy bit by bit, or just tilt the whole thing. Dixie Kong. Ability, Clamber. Tiny Kong. Ability, Clamber. Nokis. Alternates include blue, red, and green. Ability, Ball Dash. Piantas. Alternates include blue, red, and yellow. Ability, Laser Toss. Waddle Wing. Ability, Quick Fly. I feel like their vibe is one that would relax on the beach. Hucket Crab. Ability, Far Toss. Hucket Crab makes sense for the theme since they come from the beach. Baby Yoshi. Alternates include blue, pink, yellow. Ability, Trip Toss. Baby Yoshis, and how they're portrayed here, only appear in New Super Mario Bros. U, and they sort of round out the whole island experience with their laid-back attitudes. And also, being Baby Yoshis reminds me of their role in Paper Mario. Plus, islands and Yoshis go together well with Yoshi's Island, Mount Lava Lava, even Al Delfino have a good connection between the two would make sense here. Spear Guy. Ability, Spear Reach. He reaches with a spear, seems legit. Spear Guy rounds out the island theme by being island natives, like they do in Paper Mario and Yoshi's Island. Diddy Kong. Abilities include Special Pitch, Banana Toss, putting a new definition to a curveball. Special Bat, Rocket Swing, taking the ball for an unpredictable ride before crashing into the ground. Special Field, Clamber. Diddy Cabana has Sink or Swim. Like Booper Base Run, Goober Booper is stuck in the middle of the field, and you have to avoid him to get as much treasure as you can, or get to the highest score. The conflict here is that Wendy is making this her own private beach, and in doing so, traps those who oppose her in rings. Finally, we're on to our first new captain, Rosalina, with her team, the Rosalina Stars. The composition is focused on pitching, similarly to the Luigi Spookers, and her team composition is based on, what else? The Galaxy games. Her stage is pretty self-explanatory. It's the Comet Observatory from Mario Galaxy. This one is called Rosalina Observatory. The main gimmick of the stage is the comets that land. They can either land as deadly meteorites or helpful power stars that'll help speed you to the ball or give you a really good throw. One thing I regret is that I couldn't add more Galaxy characters in, but there are so many different enemies and friends within the same series that show up only once or twice and never again that I had to choose the most memorable ones, and I did the best that I could. Sorry, Kleptoad. Luma. Alternates include Baby, Red, Green, yellow, and blue. Ability, Star Toss. Lubba, ability, Star Toss. The Luma and Lubba all make sense as friends of Rosalina, and they were easy picks for this team. Gearmo, alternates, green, red. Ability, Magnet Catch. Using their strong, long-reaching magnet, Gearmo can catch any balls near them. Whittle, alternates include spring and fall. Ability, Snap Catch. Gearmos are there to be a part of the team as general NPCs, and so are the Whittles, as besides the Lumas, these ones are probably the most iconic, and they appear the most. It was a bit hard to pick though. Octumba. Alternates include blue, green, and Octoguy. Ability, Quick Toss. Topman. Alternates include Spiky Topman and Spring Topman. Ability is Super Spin. Of course we have a few iconic enemies from the games, those being the Topmen and the Octumbas, who have only appeared in one extra game each. Baby Rosalina. Ability, Spin Catch. Using the power of gravitational pull, she can spin and grab the ball from nearby. When there are so many Galaxy characters, why is Baby Rosalina here? Well, it's because she only really appears in the character-driven spin-offs, like Mario Kart 8, Tour, and Dr. Mario World. She's never really gotten the chance to be a character, so here it is. Honey Queen. Ability, Spin Catch. Honey Queen being a bit of a royal ambassador to the Mario Galaxy area seems a bit fitting, and while you could argue that she should be with Peach for being royalty or Daisy for being a bee, I think she belongs with the Galaxy crowd. Rosalina. Abilities. Special Pitch, Cosmic Throw. With the power of the galaxies on her side, Rosalina can throw a ball with so many effects that it's hard to see where the ball drops off. Special Bat, Gravity Swing. Instead of traditionally hitting the ball, Rosalina uses her space powers to grab the ball and send a really intense grounder. Special Field, Spin Catch. Rosalina Observatory has Star Chaser. It's a starry night sky outside, and plenty of shooting stars are hitting the observatory. It's your job to get as many stars as you can. Beware the meteors, they can cause you to lose them. The conflict here is that Ludwig is using his magic, along with Magic Koopa's help, to bring in a bunch of bosses from the Galaxy games to cause havoc around the Comet Observatory. Now it's time for the Captain Toad Explorers, a team that focuses on running, similarly to the Waluigi Bandits. The team composition is based on Captain Toad and Captain Toad related enemies and allies, as well as a few from Super Mario 3D World. His stadium is called Captain Toad Adventure. It's based on a level from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. As for gimmicks, I would imagine that since it's in the sky, it would have wind play a bit of a factor for the surrounding areas, including adding some typhoons to blow some wind around, and maybe some piranha sprouts to spit some things to distract outfielders. Toadette. Ability, Super Jump. Toad. Alternates include red, blue, yellow, green, purple. Ability, Super Jump. Okay, I think this is where the last returning characters show up, at least those that aren't Captains or Magic Koopas. But the Toads and Toadette make perfect sense. And, according to my rules, Red Toad and Captain Toad are different characters. Yep, I'm sticking with this. Though aesthetically, I think that they could have different designs, like the Bank Toad or Arm Toad. Bitty Bud. Alternates include red, blue, yellow, and green. Ability, Ball Dash. Para-Bitty Bud. Alternates include red, blue, yellow, green. Ability, Super Jump. Bitty Bud and Para-Bitty Bud would work like Diet Goombas, but like I said in the beginning, baseball games rely on giant rosters, so I think it works here. Wallop. Ability, Wall Stop. I think they could work by hitting the ball with their heads or throwing with their heads instead of pseudo-telekinesis, kinda like how the piranha plants work. Mummy Me. Ability, Terror Dash. Mummy Me is pretty self-explanatory. As the mummy version of Captain Toad, he'd essentially serve a similar purpose to that of Metal Mario or Pink Gold Peach. Flapter. Ability, Super Jump. Flapter would probably hold stuff like his mitt or his baseball in his little claws, and he'll hit baseballs like that too. Dragodon. Ability, Laser Toss. Dragodon is definitely shrunk down for this game, similarly to Petey Piranha, but I still think it's a really cool idea to add Captain Toad's biggest ally here. Cat and Toad. Abilities include Special Pitch, Turnip Throw. Throw the ball at a downward angle. It's easy to hit, but it won't go far. Special Bat, Shroom Swing. Taking a mushroom out of his bag, he can hit the ball far, and it'll be hard for the average fielder to catch it. Special Field, Hammer Catch. Cat and Toad Adventure has Minecart Mayhem. You and your fellow adventurers are on a minecart, and you follow a specific path that takes you on a fantastic journey. See how many enemies and targets you can hit. Be sure to get as high of a score as you can. The conflict would be that Wingo has arrived on the island, ready to cause some danger, and causing such immense winds that nobody can make it to the stadium. Next up is Pauline and her team of the Pauline Hits. Her team is focused on pitching and catching, similarly to the Berto Diamonds. The team is related to non-harmful NPCs in Super Mario Odyssey and Wonder, or just characters related to Pauline, but mostly NPCs. We're putting in Odyssey and Wonder NPCs into this game, like how the GameCube games put sunshine elements everywhere, and I'm not apologizing for it. Pauline Stadium is New Donk City, but the actual name of it will be Pauline Plaza. Similarly to Yoshi's Park, there'll be traffic that interrupts the flow of the game, but at night, it can all be festival related with retro visuals, cheering crowds, fireworks. Mini Mario, ability, hammer catch. I brought in Mini Mario because I feel like him being here is a nice reference to the mini games, especially since it's sort of kind of Pauline's origins. Jaxi, ability, charge dash. As the fast running creature of the desert, I feel like Jaxi would work a lot like Poochie, but a bit speedier. Glydon, ability, super jump. Not much to say about this one, he's a flying lizard and that's enough. Toastarinan, alternates include blue and green. Ability, hammer catch. Not much to say about this one, he's a fun-loving skeleton and that's enough. Steam Gardener, alternates include yellow and green. Ability, magnet catch. How is it gonna do anything with his hands? Maybe give it the glove on the watering apparatus? Duh. Shivarian, alternates include red and green. Ability, ball bounce. With the power of bounciness, Shivarians can bounce super high to catch balls without having a buddy nearby. Not much to say about this one, he's a rotund bouncing seal, and that's enough. Volbonin, ability, quick toss. I feel like they would hit and throw stuff with their body, considering how springy their body actually is. Poplin, ability, ball dash. As the one new prevalent NPC brought into Mario Wonder, I had to bring him into this one. Pauline, abilities, special pitch. Mini throw. Throwing the ball with a mini capsule, they can easily take the ball while in the air and redirect it however they want to. Special bat. Swing and music. After playing a tune, the ball flies into the air and, while in midair, gets hit again in a different direction. Special run. Super spin. Pauline Plaza has Melody Dash. Let's jam out to some classic songs by running, jumping, and collecting music notes to the tune of the jazz band. The conflict of this board could be Pauline trying to throw a festival for everyone, only to be interrupted by Motley Boss Blob, who tries to throw his own party and send everyone away from the New Donk City Festival. The final new team is the Cappy Creatures. This team is meant to be an average team like the Mario Classics. These players are based on enemies or capturables that you can find in Super Mario Odyssey and Mario Wonder. Cappy Stadium is Cappy Fluffy Field. It's a world in Mario Wonder where some places are covered in ice, some in fog, but mostly having Cooligans slide in your direction. This one was definitely the hardest to finalize. I thought I had one ready until Mario Wonder came up, and thus I had to find a way to combine both Wonder and Odyssey enemies to make a comprehensive list. Not to mention, I had to rework some enemies that I wanted before. Like, Trapedo I rejected just because it wasn't really that great. Stareface Ogre was just hard to work with, and while Gushin with an ult of Wobo would be a bit neat to see, I feel like it might be too weird to work out. Plessy, ability, Super Dive. This is one of the two characters that isn't from Odyssey onward, but I feel like they would absolutely work as one of Cappy's creatures. Obviously she'd be shrunken down to work, but I still think that she'd be an excellent addition. Coin Coffer, ability, Trip Toss. I think it'd be cool if Coin Coffer used a coin to hit stuff with. I'd be willing to give Coin Coffer the same PSI that Goomba has, cause to be fair, they don't really have much other going than legs. The same goes for Uproot. Alternates, Uproot, Potted Uproot, Sproing. Ability, Super Stretch. Using their natural stretchiness, Uproot can grow higher or longer to catch any nearby balls. This one is a similar type of alternate to that of Charging Chuck, and I think it works here considering they have the same features and basically act the same way. Tropical Wiggler. Alternates include Hatted Tropical Wiggler or Tropical Wiggler. Ability, Super Stretch. Not much to say, they're a funny worm, they get in. Skedaddler. Ability, Quick Steal. Not much to say, they are a funny creature, they get in. Mama. Ability, Ground Pound. Mama can easily hit things with their tail. Pokio. Alternates include Hatted Pokio and Pokio. Ability, Super Stretch. Not much to say, they are a funny bird, they get in. Bull Rush. Ability, Slobber Dash. Bull Rush can act like Poochie in terms of hitting things. Cappy. Abilities. Special pitch, Cap Slice. With the souls of Cap Ghosts in the ball, a buzzsaw of souls gets sent as a curveball. But which one is the real ball? Special bat, Spin Swing. With several Cap Ghosts in the ball's landing position is obscured with ghosts, making it hard to tell where the ball will end up. Special field, Hat Toss. Cappy Fluffy Field has Cooligan Dodge. As you try to run as many bases as you can, avoid the Cooligans that can bump into you, along with the occasional fog that rolls in that makes it hard for you to see. Their conflict would be that Larry has caused a fog storm, and Cappy has to use lights to light up the mountain, and find a way to deal with the fog. Time for our last two teams, those being the Bowser teams. First up are the Bowser Bosses, a team consisting of bosses from the Mario series. This team is focused on hitting, like the Wario Wreckers. The stadium, of course, is Bowser Castle. I don't think there would be much here that's different from other Bowser castles. This time around we have lava and potaboos and whatnot, and I feel like that's fair enough. For the newcomers, there's not much to explain. You've heard them all before. I guess it's time to find out which ones are here and which ones are on Bowser Jr.'s team. Dry Bowser. Ability, Boomerang. Seems fair. He's Bowser, he's a boss, it makes enough sense. Boom Boom. Ability, Super Spin. Pom Pom. Ability, Super Spin. Ever since Mario 3D Land, they've been appearing here and there, and I think they should be here too. King Babam. Ability, Far Toss. King Babam has been appearing in a bunch of stuff, so I think it'd be nice to see him in. Womp King. Ability, Wall Stop. I feel like Womp King would be a bigger version of Womp, and considering we have Womp and Wimp in here, Womp King seems like a good one to round it off. Boss Brolder. Ability, Ground Pound. I feel like Boss Brolder would be a big version of Brolder. Motley Boss Blob. Ability, Metallic Slide. I think having Motley Boss Blob use his metal suit thing as a way to catch stuff or hit stuff super far like a stand, I think it'd be really fun. Wingo. Ability, Super Jump. I feel like Wingo would work as a big version of Flapter. Bowser. Abilities, Special Pitch, Spike Throw. Bowser rolls a giant metal bar that's hard to hit far. Special Bat, Fire Swing. Igniting the bat, Bowser hits the ball and it becomes a fireball, spreading with 3 other ones on its sides. Special Run, Shell Spin. Bowser Castle has Boss Brawl. Face off against old foes like Mecha Bowser or Dino Piranha as you move around and swing as many times as you can against them. Not much to explain and no conflict here, just them taking over baseball parks. Finally, the last team is the Bowser Jr. Brutes, a list of characters associated with Bowser Jr. Their team is focused on chemistry, like the Yoshi Islanders, and their stadium is Bowser Jr. Airship. It has bullet bills and bombs, similarly to Bowser Jr.'s playroom, but this time they're set off by stepping on certain panels, instead of the ball landing at certain places. It also has some winds that can push the ball a bit, and sometimes maybe even lightning will strike. Magic Koopa. Alternates include blue, red, green, yellow. Ability, Magic Catch. Larry. Ability, Shell Spin. Lemmy. Ability, Ball Bounce. Iggy. Ability, Magic Toss. Using their magic, Iggy can throw a ball to someone with perfect accuracy and a bit of speed. Roy. Ability, Bullet Catch. Firing a bullet bill, Roy can catch a ball from a faraway distance. Morton Jr. Ability, Hammer Catch. Wendy. Ability, Skate Dash. Skating towards the opponent, Wendy gracefully jumps in the air to avoid being tagged by a ball. Ludwig. Ability, Magic Toss. Of course we had to add the Koopalings in. They've been in so much and they absolutely deserve the spin-off spotlight, with the main man himself, Bowser Jr. Abilities, Special Pitch, Cannon Toss. Bowser Jr. shoots the ball as if it were from a cannon. Special Bat, Paint Swing. Along with a volley of paintballs, Bowser Jr. will hit the ball far away. Try to catch it if the paint doesn't slip you up. Special Run, Shell Spin. Bowser Jr. Airship has Bob-omb Blast. Just like the one in Mario Stadium. You hit bombs and bullet bills and see how far you can knock them away. Now, I know for a fact that Nintendo definitely wouldn't actually do this. The best case scenario is having a game where it has a similar roster to Sluggers, or even Mario Superstar Baseball. They definitely wouldn't have all the characters I listed. Like, who would think of putting in Wimp and Morty Mole? And that's okay. Heck, these ideas are just spitballing at the end of the day, but I'm happy I could share these. This whole project has been so long in the making, even compared to my commentary videos, and if you've actually watched this, I thank you a lot. I know my video game videos don't really get many views, but this one I feel passionate about. Channels like Mario Sluggers Fan Club help me to revitalize my interest in Mario Baseball, reminding me why I love it in a world where people usually see strikers, golf, or tennis as the best ones. This video took a long time to make, not only with assets, but with scripting, beta stuff, rearranging characters and such, and getting a roster that's fitting and appropriate is well and good, but my biggest reason for this sort of stuff was an old friend of mine. I don't even know if he keeps up with my content or knows anything about me now, but I'll probably reach out to him with this video. I don't know, we both suck at communicating with one another since we lived so far away, but we were both Mario nerds, and he was, and still probably is, a baseball nerd. And playing this game was how I sort of became a baseball nerd too. It made me really like baseball, and we would sometimes go to the ball game together and have a fun time. And there are times that I kinda miss that. All of this is really to say, happy birthday, friend.